Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5 and today I have another knife review for you. Today I'm reviewing the Silver Stag Big Bowie, also sometimes called the 10-inch Bowie, and I just gave away one of the stats and specifications, so let's go ahead and get started on that. The blade is 10 inches and it's made from 1095 steel, and they have jeweled the flats of the blade, which I think is just beautiful. They have all these swirls in there, but if you run your finger across it, it feels smooth. But it does have that swirl design on it. It cost $119.95 off of knifeworks.com. Now, let's get started on the review. I mentioned that I like the drilled blade. That's where things start going downhill, because there's not a whole lot more that features on this knife that I really like. And I want to share that with you. Why this knife, when I first held it in my hands, when I got it in the mail, was a disappointment, and not, and it wasn't a good experience for me. First off, the knife handle, which, don't get me wrong, I love Stag, is way too big. I mean, look at that. My fingers can't even go all the way around that. Not even my, let's see, yeah, that's my middle finger, and I can't get my finger and my thumb to touch. So that is a big hunk of antler, and to me it's just unnecessary. It's not practical. I mean, well, look at it this way. If you watch like the strongman competitions, or if you lift weights, maybe professionally or something, you know that the bigger round your handle is to your weights, the harder it is to lift that weight. You can get a 20-pound weight with a handle about that big, lift it up, do some curls, no problem. But if you get a 20-pound weight that's the handle is this big around, then it gets significantly more difficult for you to lift that weight. It puts more stress on your fingers, and you just don't got as strong of a grip. There's a battle zone when it comes to handle design and handle size. Can't be too small, or kind of just slip through your hands. Can't be too big, or you don't really get a good grip on it, and you're just kind of using your fingers instead of your whole hand as a unit. So I don't like the big handle. I think they use elk handle for this particular knife. And before I get started on that, I would like to let it be known that Silver Stag uses naturally shedded antlers for their knives. Silver Stag does not go around killing deer for their antlers. They gather them up when the animals shed their antlers, and then they make knives out of them. And if you want a knife made out of a deer that you killed, like let's say you kill a big buck and you want a knife made out of it, they will do that. But they don't go around killing deer for the company. They take sheds. Okay, back on the issue of the knife. Yes, this elk handle is way too big. I guess you can say the positive end of that is that the knife might not slip out of your hand when swinging it very hard, but at the same time you don't get as secure of a grip. Now it's a little bit better up here, but still it just doesn't feel right to me. I think they should have went with whitetail stag or sandbar stag or something smaller, not that big around. Also, one of the issues I have on here is the fit and finish. Now, it's not really a fit issue, it's more of a finish issue. forced issue number 1, the pin. They drill holes in these antlers, they put epoxy in them, and then they pin them. Obviously this isn't full tang, but and that's not an issue to me. I don't know why people get too hung up on that, but as you can see, that pin is sticking out a good bit of distance right there. That is sticking out there. Same on the other side. Is sticking out. Sticking out. On a $100+ knife, especially a knife company that claims to be a custom knife shop, or yeah, let me show you this. Let me get my iPad. They're handcrafted. I'm not arguing with that. And they're 100% American made. But look at that, Silver Stag, custom USA made knives. If you're gonna put that on your website or your label, I expect a little bit more quality out of the knife. That means making this flush, and an issue that I haven't talked about yet, but you're going to hear about it, is making the guard flush with the knife as well. There is, I don't know if you can see it, but that guard is not flush at all. That is not as big of an issue to me as this, but like I said, if you're going to advertise to be handcrafted, made in America, custom quality knives, this is stuff that you got to look at, because you won't see this on Master Bladesmith knives. You know, there's a reason why they're called Master Smiths. Now I know what you're thinking, that you didn't pay nowhere near the price of a Master ABS certified Master Smith knife, and I realize that. This knife is $120. In the big scheme of things, that's not a lot for a Bowie. I mean, it's a good chunk of cash, but you can spend a whole lot more if you want to. But yes, those are the issues I have with it. A big handle, unfinished pin, and guard transition. It should all be smoothed out and flush. And let's talk about something here. What is this knife good for? Why is this company making this knife? Who is their target clientele? What was this knife designed to do? I think that's an interesting question. It's clearly not a fighting knife. I mean, no one's going to walk around with that knife in this sheath, you know, hanging on their side, you know, on a day-to-day basis. I don't know why they put these slits in the leather, because you're not going to wear this scout style. But anyways, let's talk about the uses for this knife. I don't see this as being a fighting knife. So what else does that leave? Well, maybe a hunting knife. I can see it being a hunting knife, maybe for hog hunting. A lot of hog hunters like to hunt with spears and knives and dogs. It's not my thing, but it is a real thing. So you got a somewhat decent guard. It's going to keep you from slipping up on the blade. You get some dogs bay up a hog, you can take them out with this. The only problem I see with this knife as being a hog hunting knife is that it has no retention. So if you get chased up a tree while hog hunting, which hopefully won't happen, and this knife can fall off your sheath. Well, you're probably thinking to yourself, who cares if the knife falls out of your sheath? when you're up a tree. The main goal is to get in the tree. Well, if you have someone else hunting with you, under you, that can become a safety hazard. It will be a very unpleasant experience if that knife falls on them. But maybe as just a general skinning knife, I don't know. Generally, I like smaller knives for skinning, although having a big skinning or meat processing knife like this does have its advantages. One thing in Texas, when you hunt a deer, you have to have proof of sex. That has nothing to do with whether or not it's a male or female deer. What they're really interested in is if it has antlers or not. And there's been a few freak occurrences where a female deer will have antlers or so on and so forth. So they really want the head. So in order to have proof of sex, you'd have to chop the head off. This knife will get that done. Also, if you wanted to chop off the legs, or do some of the heavier duty butchering task, I think this knife can handle it. I think it's like I forgot, it was like 56 or 58 Rockwell hardness. So I don't think you'll have any issues with that. Just be careful. Yeah, not a fighting knife, possibly a hunting knife. I don't see this being a camping knife, just because of the issues with the finish on this knife with the pins and stuff. Although you could probably fix that problem yourself, but to me, this big handle with the protruding pins doesn't make for a good camp knife or bushcraft knife. What about a display knife? It's a very attractive knife in my opinion. I kind of wish it had a prettier, more ornate gold and stuff, but maybe some inlays in the stag. But it's a very attractive knife, clearly. Again, my biggest problem with this knife is that the handle is way too big. There's no need in that. So my big dilemma is, if I want to hang this up on my wall, how do I get something to hold this end of the knife? I mean, clearly I can just get a small hook, or just a small hook, and hook the blade right there, but what's going to hold this end? So it doesn't look like it's the best display knife if you're going to hang it up on a wall. If maybe you can get a stand to hang it up, or to set it up on your desk, so when people walk in, like, hey, that's cool looking decorations. Yeah, but for me, this knife was a swing and a miss, and that's just my own opinion. A lot of times when I get a knife in the mail, I'll pick it up, I'll fondle it a little bit, and I'll be like, oh man, this is a cool knife. Or I'll be like, uh-oh, someone wasted their money. I'm not very happy with this. And that's the situation with this. I don't feel that I got my money's worth out of this knife. I feel that they could have did a better job. And I don't like doing negative reviews, but it does y'all no good for me to only put up positive reviews. I mean, I could very easily just grab this knife, handle it a little bit, then never talk about it again. But I feel that it's part of my job to tell you the good and the bad. By the way, I did actually use this knife. You can see some of the little rust and wear marks on it. I chopped bamboo with this. It did a pretty awesome job at chopping bamboo. I do not recommend it as a light or a very expensive machete. I think you'd be better off with a cheap machete, a cold steel machete, a cable machete. Much more ergonomic, much more cutting power in my opinion. But this did do the job pretty well, and I had a good time. I enjoyed chopping bamboo with it. That's the only part about this. Well, that's one of two parts of this knife that I enjoyed. One is the aesthetics, and two, the chopping of the bamboo. But as far as a practical knife, I think they could do a better job. That's it. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.